Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet a kitchen towel that only uses one stitch. It's cute, quick to make, and features the most adorable stripes. The free written pattern can be found on my website at julesandjones.com, and you can find a link for that in the description box below. Let's go ahead and get started. Some of the materials that you're going to need to make this pattern is you are going to need 2 different colors of a worsted weight number 4 cotton yarn. I'm using WeCrochet Dishie yarn in the colors Inlet and in the color Swan. Now you're going to need 2 skeins for your main color, so for the main portion of the dish towels, I'm using the color Inlet in this tutorial. And then you're just going to need 1 skein for the stripes, and so I'm going to be using the color white for this part in the tutorial. Once you have your yarn figured out, you are then going to need a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, which is the letter size I. You're also just going to need a pair of scissors to cut in between ends, and then you're going to need a darning needle to work in your ends. And that's it. So let's go ahead and get started with our tutorial. So our first step in making this crochet hand towel is to make a slip knot. So go ahead and grab your main color yarn, and you are going to wrap it around your finger twice. Then take the back piece, push it over the front piece, and then take the front piece and push that over the back piece and over your finger. And then pull tight. Then grab your crochet hook, insert it into that loop, and then pull tight one more time. And there you go. Now we have a slip knot. Okay, so once you've made your slip knot, you want to chain a total of 43 chains. So to make a chain, just wrap the yarn over your hook and pull through. And so that's my first chain. So here's my second one, and just continue on until you have 43 total. All right, so I've just finished working my 43 chains, and so now we are going to work our first row. The first row is just made up of half double crochet stitches. So you're going to find your second chain, because we're going to skip the first chain and we're going to work a half double crochet in the second chain. So yarn over, insert your hook into the second chain, yarn over, pull through, so you have 3 loops on your hook, and then yarn over once more and pull through all 3 loops. And there you go. So now you've made your first half double crochet. So now we're just going to continue to repeat that until our end of our chain. So yarn over, insert your hook into the second chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Okay, and just continue to do that until you've reached the end. All right, so I've just finished row 1, and you should have something that looks like this, and you're also going to have 42 stitches because we skipped our first chain. Okay, so make sure you have something that looks like this, and so now we're going to start row 2. So for row 2, we're going to chain 1, we're going to turn our work, and for row 2, we are also going to be making half double crochet stitches, except our placement is going to be different. So normally when you work a half double crochet stitch, you would just work in your regular stitch, which would be this one, right? So this row right here. But for this half double crochet placement, we are actually going to work our stitch between the last 2 stitches from the previous row. So you can see my little V here and my little V right there. And that space in between my 2 little V's. And that is where you are going to place your hook. So go ahead and yarn over, insert your hook between that space, and then finish off your half double crochet stitch. And you should have something that looks like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that again. So yarn over, insert your hook between the 2 stitches from the previous row, so it's right here, and then finish off your crochet or your half double crochet. Okay, let's do it one more time. So yarn over, insert my hook between the 2 stitches from the previous row, and then I'm finishing off my half double crochet. And see how you'll see that little pattern? Okay, and so you are going to continue to do that until the very last stitch. Okay, because our last stitch is just going to be worked regular, like normal. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to work these stitches, and then I'll meet you right here at the end. Okay, so I'm here towards the end of my row 2, and I have to make one more stitch, which is my half double crochet stitch again. So I'm going to find the last 2 loops on the side, so you might have to turn your work over, and I'm just going to work a half double crochet. So I'm underneath my 2 loops, and then I'm just going to finish off my half double crochet. And you should have something that looks like this. Okay, so that completes row 2. So now before we start the other rows, I just want to note that you are just going to work this method for the whole entire pattern. Okay, so you're going to work your half double crochets in the stitches in the previous row. Okay, so for row 3, we are going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work, and we are simply going to be repeating row 2. Okay, and so you are going to repeat row 2 until you get to row 6. So row 3 through row 6 is just going to be a repeat of row 2, and then we're going to switch colors and then repeat the same thing again. Okay, so this part sounds a little bit confusing. You can always pull up the blog post, and the link for that is in the description box, and then you can have this video going while looking at the pattern directions as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it again. So we're just going to do a repeat of row 2. So I'm going to yarn over for my half double crochet. I'm going to find my space between my 2 stitches, which is right here. And I'm going to work my hook in there and then finish off my half double crochet. Okay, and there we go. So let's do it again. Yarn over, find my space between my 2 stitches from the previous row, insert my hook, and finish off my half double crochet. And I'm going to continue to do that until the end of the row, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so I've just finished my row 3, and you should have something that looks like this. So now you're just going to continue to repeat row 2 until you finish off row 6, and then we are ready for our color change. Okay, so now we've come to the part in the pattern where we need to make our first color changes because we're going to make stripes for our dish towel. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and grab your second color, and the method that I'm going to be showing you is just one of my personal favorite methods, but of course you can choose whichever color changing method that you like. Okay, so go ahead and have your second color handy, and then how I like to make a color change is like this. So I go to work my last stitch, okay, so my half double crochet stitch, and I'm here at my last step, but instead of yarning over and pulling through to finish off my half double crochet, that's when I like to bring in my second color, and I just drape it over my hook, just like this. So my tail end is on the right side, and my working yarn is on the left side, and then I carefully pull it through my last step of my half double crochet stitch. So just like that. And then I continue on with my new color. So then I would chain 1 to secure it, but I also need to chain 1 for my next row. And then you can just flip your work, and now you've made a seamless color change. Okay, so this will be your row 7. So what you would do is you would go ahead and continue to work your half double crochets for row 7. And then you would switch back colors to your main color for row 8. And then for row 9, you would do your second color again. And then for row 10, you want to switch back to your main color. Row 11, you would switch back to your white color. And then row 12, you would switch back to your main color. And that's it. So that's how you do the stripe part of this pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and work this row, and then I will show you what it looks like. All right, so I have just finished my row 7, and so you should have something that looks like this. And so now I'm ready to make my next color change again, which is the main color. So I'm going to use the method that I just showed you to change back colors to the main color that I was using, and then you are just going to repeat that step 4 more times. So you'll end up having 3 rows of white and then 3 rows of this blue color. Okay, so your main color. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and continue to do that, and then I will show you at the end of row 12 what it will look like. Okay, so here I have just finished my color changing rows, and as you can see, we have 3 rows of the white and then 3 rows of the blue, so my main color. And so I have just finished my row 12. And so now what you're going to do in the pattern is you are going to go ahead and continue to work with your main color until you reach row 40. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will show you what it looks like. All right, so I have just finished working up to my 40th row, and so you should have something that looks like this now. So just a quick overview, this is where we started, this is where we made our color changes, and then we worked all the way up to row 40 in our main color again. So now our next step in the pattern is to make our color changing rows. So you are going to work this exact same part, so exactly what we did here for the next part. So you would switch your color back to white, make your row, switch back to the main color, and work that row, and then repeat that again. So you'll have 6 rows of the color change. So you'll have blue, white, and then blue, white again. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that step, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so I have just finished working my last color changes of this pattern, and so you should have something that looks like this. So it's gonna be the exact same as the color changing rows in the beginning of the pattern. Okay, and so the pattern becomes very simple after this because all we have to do is just work a few more rows of our main color, and then we are officially done with this pattern. Okay, and I do show you how to make an optional loop if you would like to hang up your dish towel. Okay, so at this point you are going to be at row 46, and so you want to work the half double crochet rows until row 52 in your main color. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you again what it looks like. So I have just finished working my last row of my dish towel pattern. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this, and here's just a quick overview of it again. But we started from all the way down here. We worked our stripes, and we worked our main section again, our stripes, and then we just finished off this part. So now you are technically done, and if you want to be completely done with this project, all you want to do is just reinsert your hook, yarn over, cut the yarn, and pull through to make a knot. Or you can also make a loop so you can actually hang your dish towel. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you how to do this part now. So I'm going to go ahead and reinsert my hook here. And then what you want to do is you want to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now if you want a longer hoop, you just want to add more chains. If you want a shorter loop, just decrease the amount of chains, okay? So once you've made 10 chains, you want to then go ahead and slip stitch to our last stitch that we just made. So I'm just going to insert my hook into the 2 loops here on the side. Okay, so I'm just going to do that part and make a slip stitch. So you should have something that looks like this. And then I'm going to work 2 more slip stitches on the side, so for a total of 3. So I'm going to place 1 right here and then 1 right here. So let's see, I've just worked that one. So I'm going to go ahead and work my next slip stitch and then work 1 on the side. And this part does not have to be perfect. I say as long as you can get those 2 loops on your hook, then that should be fine. Okay, so now my loop is done, and you should have something that looks like this. Now you can go ahead and grab your scissor, go ahead and cut your yarn, and then yarn over 1 more time and pull it through to create a knot, and then you just have 1 more tail end to work in. And there you go. So now you've created a loop and you are all done with your dish towel. All right, everyone, I really hope you enjoyed making this fun crochet project with me. I think these dish towels are so useful and they're perfect to use in the kitchen, and you can also just make a separate set for the bathroom. That's a perfect homemade touch, I feel. But yeah, if you did enjoy it, make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe because it really helps the channel. And I will see you guys in my next video tutorial. Bye, everyone.